Hey everyone, it's Victoria in Agent Development, and today I'm going to walk you through how to create an e-blast email in Engage, our CRM product. An e-blast would be great for something like a monthly newsletter or maybe like a quarterly neighborhood update, something where you're wanting to send to a larger group of people and be able to track who opens it. So I am already logged into Engage. I'm on the People My People page, but where we want to go is into campaigns. So I'm going to click on the campaigns tab up here at the top, kind of towards the left. And it's going to bring me to my campaigns dashboard. If you've already set up the Market Watch or Tucker Trending at Home newsletter, this might look a little familiar, but we're going to be working in a couple of different places today within campaigns. So we're going to be working in this eBlasts tab here at the top, and then over at the end, also the My Emails tab. But the first thing that we need to do in order to create an eBlast is we need to go grab a blank template to have something to start building our email in. So the very first thing I'm going to do is click on this big blue Add from Library button up here in the upper right-hand corner. There's a couple of different libraries that you can choose from. We want to go to the eBlasts library. So it's kind of like another tab up here at the top in the middle. I'm going to click on eBlasts. And then you only have one option. It's this eBlast blank. Over on the right-hand side, there's a button that says Add to Campaigns. If I click on that, I should get a green check mark. There it is. That says it's been added to my campaigns and is awaiting setup. So then I can just go ahead and close this window. And I'm back to my dashboard. Now up at the top, those two sections I talked about, My Emails and then also eBlasts, you can see there's a green dot next to each of those. It's basically saying, hey, you've got something that you can do now, something new, so I kind of know where to go, okay? So the next place I'm going to go into My Emails, and this is where we are going to build the content of this email. So I'm going to click on My Emails. I have a bunch of emails in here. You might not. This is a training account and a test account, so I have a bunch of stuff. But the one that you've just added should be at the top. You can always check the most recent date here as well. But the one here at the top, it says eBlast template. So that's what we're looking for, eBlast template. So I'm going to click right where the name is. And then the next thing that I really, really recommend is that you edit the name of this template. This ensures that when we go to send it, we are grabbing the exact email that we want, and we're not accidentally sending some content that we didn't mean to send. So I'm going to edit the name, and I'm going to call this exactly whatever it might be. So let's say I'm creating a newsletter for this month. August 2022 newsletter, no confusion there. I'm going to save the name. And then I'm just going to start working my way down this page. So the very next thing, it says set up email. Over on the right, I'm going to click on edit setup. Then it allows me to give my email a subject. So exactly what it says it is, the subject line that your clients are going to see in their inbox. So let's call it something like this: August real estate newsletter from your realtor, Victoria Thomas, right? And then it also allows you to include some preview text. That preview text is just that little bit of text right next to the email subject when it's still in your inbox. If it is a text-based email, a lot of times the preview text will just pull that first little bit of actual text. So like your salutation, hi, or hello, or whatever it might be. If it's a really graphic-based email, though, there's no text for it to pull. So I really recommend adding a little bit of preview text. The example I'm going to create today is going to be a graphic-based email. So I definitely want to include some preview text. So maybe something just like that. Then we recommend that you include your signature. Don't include the header or the footer. As an agent, you don't have the capability to customize those, and they're honestly pretty generic and not super great looking. However, you should have already set up your email signature for Engage as a whole. If you haven't, you do that in your up here at the top under My Account, and then go to My Brand. That's a separate video. I've got one on that though as well, or reach out to Agent Development and we can help you out. Okay, so I've got my subject set, my preview text set. I'm including my signature. Let me save this section here. And now let's start building our email. So under build email on the right where it says edit email content, I'm going to click on that. And I get a pretty blank page. So over here on the right is where we're going, I'm sorry, on the left where the white is, we're going to build our email. And then over here on the right in this dark gray section, this is how we're going to do it. So you've got some options over here kind of along the top. Rows, we can keep adding more rows. It's a kind of a smart way to think about it is like it's really modular. So I can add like different modules, different sections that way. The content tab shows me even more things that I can add. So dividers between specific, like content sections. I can add text, I can add images. And then there's even a style tab that allows me to get, even more into it. So I can change the width and the height and my font and the color and that kind of stuff. I'm going to hop back into the content tab. And like I said, I'm going to build a very graphic based email. So I need to add a section where I can upload an image into it. So that's where this little guy here that says image comes into play. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to drag it over into this white section. And I'm going to drag it into this dotted line. See how that turned yellow and I got that green line? It basically says that I can drop it in there. So that's what I'm going to do. And boom, now I get this section that says double click to insert image. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And then it allows me to upload whatever content that I want. So you notice this dotted like rectangle here. It says drop files here or click to upload. If I had it handy, I could drag it and drop it in here, or I can click to upload. You also sort of have a section over here that is like your own library of content that you've uploaded. So you can see I've actually already uploaded my test newsletter. Let's pretend I hadn't. Let's get rid of that. And now I'm going to click back in this dotted rectangle where it says click to upload. I'm just going to navigate to wherever I have it saved, on my computer. So I happen to have it in my downloads. Here's a test newsletter that I created. I'm going to click open. You're going to see it drop it over here in this like library section. I'm going to click on it. You can see that it uploaded it in the background. I'm going to close that window and boom, there it is. There's my newsletter. I created this one very quickly in Canva. You could have marketing create something for you. Maybe your office already creates something, or like me, if you're savvy in Canva, you could create something on your own. I saved this as a JPEG. I think a PNG would work as well, but something like a PDF is not going to. But I saved this one as a JPEG and it seems to work pretty well. All right, so I could do a couple of things here now. I could send myself a test if I wanted. It allows me to do that right there. Or I could just even preview it and it just allows me to see it here on the screen. I'm like, yep, this looks great to me. Love it. I'm going to go ahead and click continue up here in the upper right-hand corner. I know it looks like it could be grayed out, but you can click this continue button. And it brings me back to this screen. So I'm still editing my email. Once I have everything looks perfect, I'm going to click on the big blue save button up at the top. And now it will bring me back to my dashboard. And we can see now that instead of like eBlast template or whatever it was, it says August 2022 newsletter. Fantastic. And up here next to my emails, that green dot is gone. However, there's still a green dot over here next to eBlast. So that tells me that's where I need to go next. Okay, so I'm going to click on eBlasts. And I only have one currently because it's the one that we just added. And it says eBlast blank. So this is what I want to click on. And again, you can note the date that, hopefully you're working on it at the same time. So I added this one today. Today's 8/1. Here we go. I'm going to click on eBlast blank. And this could take a minute to load depending on how much content you have in that email we just created. Okay, so mine took about a full 30 seconds for it to load. The very next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name of this eBlast. So it still says eBlast blank here at the top. The reason I want to do this is because I want to know exactly which eBlast this is that I send out so I can look at my stats later, right? We're going to name it August 2022 newsletter and save it. That way I don't just have a bunch of eBlasts called the same thing. Okay, the next thing is to add our recipients. So that's the next thing down Over here on the right-hand side, it says Set Up. Click on that. Then over on the left, I'm going to click on the Add Recipients button. And then I'm going to get a window on the right side of my screen that allows me to select the people I want to send this to. So if I wanted to send this to individual people, I could scroll through here. I can search for people up at the top, or I can slide over to this Groups tab and do a couple of things. I could include all current contacts, meaning anybody who has an email address is going to get this newsletter from me. Or if I have my clients, organized into different groups, I could, select one or two or many groups. So my A's, my B's, my newsletter group, my certain neighborhood that I'm farming, whatever it might be, I can select those groups as well. If somebody is in more than one group that you send it to, they will only receive it once. They're not going to get duplicates. For this example, I'm actually just going to send this to myself, since that's kind of a crazy newsletter I created. Okay, so I clicked Add once I had my people selected, and then you will see them all here. If you've selected a lot of people, you might have to scroll down a little bit, but the thing we're looking for is this blue Save button, and I'm going to click that. Once I click Save, what we are waiting for is this Send Campaign button in the upper right-hand corner to turn blue. If you are adding multiple people, especially like a couple of hundred people, this can take this a minute to turn blue. I know it's really tempting to keep clicking on things, but once you hit save, just wait for this Send Campaign button to turn blue. Since I'm only adding one person, mine's going to turn blue pretty instantaneous. So I'm going to click save. Boom, see, it's already blue. Okay, but before we send it, I just want to give my content one more look over, right? So we can see my content here. Looks pretty good. There's my email signature. I know that it's correct. If for some reason I was not getting the content here that I thought I should, you can click on this little button that says Change eBlast, and then it shows you all of the emails that you have in the My Email section, which is why we made it a point to change it to say August 2022 newsletter, so we know that we're grabbing the correct email and not sending something we don't mean to. So I'm not actually making any changes, so it won't allow me to save it. I'm just going to hit cancel. We can see it here. It's really nice that it gives us a preview. And then I can come up here and I can click Send Campaign. If I'm not quite ready for it to go out, I can say Finish Later and come back to it. Unfortunately, it does not allow me to schedule send this out. I've got to send it, I have to push send and it will go. But I'm ready to send this. So I'm going to go ahead and click Send Campaign. Once I click on Send Campaign, again, I don't want to click on anything else. I want to let it refresh and naturally come back to my campaigns dashboard. So again, if you're sending to multiple people, especially maybe like a couple hundred people, it can take it a minute. I know it's tempting to keep clicking, just don't. So I'm going to hit Send Campaign. And then this is where it might take it a minute. But once it sends, it will come back to this screen. So we're back on our campaigns dashboard. You'll notice up at the top, I'm still in the eBlasts tab, and it shows us this one that we just sent. So here's the August 2022 newsletter. You'll see that it's immediately archived, so we can't send it again. We can still send that email, but I can't send this specific eBlast again. And then it gives us some stats, which is really nice. It will show us how many people we send it to. In this instance, again, I only sent it to myself, so there's only one, but it would show us everybody that was sent to. And then these will start to change as people open it. So we'll start to get a percentage of an open rate, a percentage of a click rate. So if you included something that they can click through to, like some type of hyperlink, if they click on it, it will show it. And then it just gives us opens, again, those clicks, and unsubscribes. These blue zeros will become clickable, so we can see who's opening it, who's unsubscribing. Here, if I click on opens, it'll open the box, but obviously it's not showing us anybody. But it would start showing us the name when they opened it, or vice versa, unfortunately, if they unsubscribed and when they did that. Okay, so there's a nice little place where you can gather some data and then reach out, however you want to. Okay, now we're in my inbox, and here is that email that I just sent to myself. So obviously, you as the agent, your name would go here, and then it shows us my subject line. It shows me that little bit of preview text, what's happening in your neighborhood. And when I click on it, it shows me the content, the email signature, Looks great. Now, if I hop back into Engage, and now it shows me that I have one open, and 1 of 1 is 100% open rate. Woohoo, fantastic. That's how you send an e-blast using Engage. If you have any questions, you know where to find us in agent development. We are always here to help.